This is Paul Jenkins, and you're listening to the Reluctant Leader Podcast. Now, I believe two things are true. One, everyone leads someone. And two, no one really feels qualified to lead anyone. So maybe you feel overlooked, unqualified, invisible. But the good news is, in the Bible and in life, the most qualified aren't always the most obvious.
Have you ever wondered what your body would be like if you didn't have armpits? It's a crazy thing to think about. What about the skin on your elbow that you have to keep putting moisturizer on? What about the space between your toes? What about those internal organs that we don't ever want to really see? Those places are important, and today we're going to talk about it. Last night I was sitting in a ministry leaders team meeting, and we were wrapping it up. And as we finished it, shout out to Seth, our youth pastor, he was staring at my laptop cover, and I mean, he was really staring it down intently. And I finally said, is everything okay? And he said, something bothers me about your laptop, your stickers. And I was like, well, what is one of them not straight? What had happened was I had one sticker that I had put on my laptop cover, and when I stuck it on there, I didn't realize that there was like another part of the wrapper of the sticker that I could pull off. So anyway, it looked like I had left some of the adhesive on my laptop. I thought it was part of the sticker, but then he pulled it off, and the sticker just completely transformed. It's like, wow, that's amazing. It looks fantastic. It looks done. It looks like it was supposed to look, and I never would have seen it. I've stared at that sticker ever since I got it a couple months ago. Never even dawned on me that was adhesive that wasn't supposed to be left there. I hope that made sense. My point is, we need each other. He saw something that I couldn't see, and he helped me correct it. This is the point of the body. It reminds me of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, where like Paul says in verse 21, the eye can't say to the hand, I don't need you, and the head can't say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable, and the parts that we think are less honorable we treat with special honor. It makes me think about, like, what would it look like if we didn't have armpits? Have you ever thought about that? Like, how would we walk through doorways with our arms sticking straight out? We'd have to like turn sideways and shuffle through in a weird way. How would we eat if we couldn't bend at the armpit? What would our bodies look like? What would your feet look like if you didn't have the space between your toes, right? Like, these are parts that we think are kind of weird, but they're not. They're indispensable. And then all the parts of our body on the outside that we can see, most of those limbs we could live without. Clearly, we need our heads, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you can lose a finger or two, you could lose an arm, you could lose a foot, a hand, and still function. But the internal organs, the things in your body, in my body, if I lost those, I'm probably not surviving. We forget that it is the unseen, the behind the scenes parts of the body, the parts that say, like, I feel like I don't have any honor, but God says you're indispensable. And until we realize that, we're not going to be the best leaders we can be, because y'all, we've got to be confident in the part that we play in the body as leaders. What is the part that we play in the body? We got to be confident in that. And then two, we've got to be able to call other people into their place. We have to be able to look at people and say, yeah, you might crave this part of the body, but God's actually created you to function here. And as we help people, as we say at church, like, we want to get our aces in their places. As we help people find what they were made for, and then we help them do those things, it's a beautiful gift. The body becomes complete. Not just like, I'm not talking just making the church services better. The body of Christ becomes complete. And when the body is complete, we present this beautiful picture to the world. The way that God says it through Paul in 1 Corinthians 12, he says in verse 24, but God has put the body together, giving greater honor to the parts that lacked it, so that there would be no division in the body. Why is that important? Because Jesus also said that the world would know that he was sent by God because of the way we have love one for another. Our unity is a witness to the world that Jesus is who he says he is. You are the body of Christ, Paul writes, and each one of you is a part of it. And God has placed in the church apostles, prophets, teachers, miracles, gifts of healing, helping, guidance, different types of tongues. He says, eagerly desire those gifts, eagerly desire to find and use the part you were made to play. I pray that this short devotion encourages you to find your place and embrace your place. Play the part that you were made to play. Help the body become complete by being who you were made to be.
You've been listening to the Reluctant Leader Podcast. Thanks so much for being a part of this conversation. You can follow us at the reluctantleaderpodcast.com or wherever you download your podcast. Be sure that you subscribe and like us and leave us a rating and a comment. We'd love to hear from you and hear what God's showing you. And remember this, no matter how reluctant you feel, keep saying yes, and he'll do the rest.